Have you ever heard of someone who can see without using their eyes? It sounds impossible, but this was the extraordinary ability of Kutta Bux, a man who defied logic and science with an apparently supernatural feat. Kutta Bux was born in the early 20th century and, from a young age, showed an intense curiosity about the power of the mind. He refused to accept the limits imposed by ordinary perception and decided to explore his own consciousness in a radical way. Through rigorous concentration training, he developed the ability to see even with his eyes completely blindfolded. In various public demonstrations, medical authorities, scientists, and skeptics witnessed as he read texts, identified objects, and even played cards without using his eyes. But how was this possible? He claimed that anyone could develop abilities beyond the norm if they trained their attention and mind in the right way. The key was absolute focus and the ability to direct consciousness beyond the physical senses. Modern science has already shown that the brain filters a vast amount of information from the environment. What we perceive is only a fraction of what truly exists. But what if we could train our minds to capture more than what our eyes reveal? Kutta Bux teaches us that attention is not just a fleeting mental state. It is a powerful tool capable of transforming perception, expanding the limits of consciousness, and perhaps even altering reality. Today, we will explore how different spiritual traditions, modern science, and energy practices approach the power of attention. After all, if reality responds to our consciousness, how far can we go when we learn to direct it? Since the earliest times, spiritual traditions around the world have taught that attention can shape reality. What Kutta Bux demonstrated is not something new. Spiritual masters from various cultures have long known that the mind has the power to influence the world around us. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, one of the oldest texts on yoga practice, there are direct references to the concept of siddhis, extraordinary abilities that can be developed through extreme concentration. These powers range from the ability to see at a distance to levitation and mastery over matter. According to Patanjali, these abilities are not miracles but natural consequences of developing consciousness. At the core of these teachings is the practice of samyama, a three-stage process that transforms human perception. The first stage, dharana, consists of absolute concentration on a single point. The second, dhyana, is a state of deep meditation, where the mind becomes completely absorbed in the object of focus. The third and final stage, samadhi, is the complete fusion between the observer and the observed, a state where the barriers between the mind and external reality disappear. This concept is not limited to Hinduism. In shamanism, for example, ancestral rituals used attention as a tool to alter states of consciousness and interact with invisible dimensions. Shamans from various cultures believed that by directing their energy and intention toward a specific goal, they could change reality. From invoking rain to performing miraculous healings, the secret lay in their ability to sustain attention with intensity and purpose. Carlos Castaneda, in his studies on Toltec sorcerers, described a similar concept: intent. According to Toltec shamans, intent is an invisible force that permeates all of reality and can be accessed by those who know how to direct their consciousness. For them, attention is not merely a passive act of perceiving something but a channel through which reality is shaped. All these traditions point to the same fundamental principle. External reality is profoundly influenced by internal focus. What we choose to observe, feel, and believe defines what we experience. The question is, if such different cultures arrived at the same conclusions, could there be a universal truth about the power of attention? For centuries, spiritual and philosophical knowledge about the power of attention remained within the realm of faith and tradition. However, in the past 100 years, science has begun to reveal that reality may be far more malleable than previously imagined. What was once considered mysticism now finds parallels in modern physics. One of the most intriguing concepts in quantum physics is the collapse of the wave function. Simply put, this means that subatomic particles exist in a state of pure possibility until they are observed. Only when attention is directed toward them do these particles assume a definite form, becoming real at a specific point in space and time. This discovery suggests that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping reality. The double-slit experiment is one of the most well-known examples of this phenomenon. When a beam of electrons is fired at a barrier with two slits, it behaves like a wave, spreading out in interference patterns. However, when an observer measures which slits the electrons pass through, the pattern changes, and the particles begin to behave like solid objects. This raises a fundamental question. Does the observer's consciousness influence the behavior of matter? Another fascinating aspect of quantum physics is quantum entanglement. This phenomenon occurs when two particles remain connected, regardless of the distance between them. If one particle changes its state, the other instantly reflects that change, even if they are millions of light-years apart. This suggests that the separation between objects may be an illusion and that everything in the universe is fundamentally interconnected. If reality responds to observation and everything is connected, then the way we focus our attention could literally influence the world around us. This idea aligns with ancient teachings about the power of the mind and the ability to transform reality through concentration and intention. The idea that directed attention can shape reality is not just a quantum theory or an ancient teaching. Many people have experienced firsthand how their thoughts and emotions influence the events around them. This principle is at the core of the law of attraction and the law of assumption, concepts that have gained popularity for explaining how the mind can create one's life experience. The law of attraction is based on a simple principle, like attracts like. In other words, whatever you focus on tends to expand. If someone spends the day cultivating negative thoughts, feelings of scarcity, and limiting beliefs, this vibration is reflected in external reality, attracting circumstances that reinforce that perception. However, just thinking positively is not enough. Many people claim to believe in the law of attraction but remain stuck in the same struggles. This happens because merely wishing for something is not sufficient. It is necessary to feel and live as if what you want is already real. This is where the law of assumption, proposed by Neville Goddard, comes into play. Neville taught that reality is a direct reflection of a person's internal state. According to him, if someone wants to manifest something, they must assume they already have it. This is not just about simple visualization but a deep shift in identity. The key, he believed, was the ability to intensely feel the fulfillment of the desire and sustain that emotion over time. The combination of the law of attraction and the law of assumption creates a powerful approach to conscious manifestation. First, thoughts and emotions must align with what is desired. Then, it is necessary to act as if it is already a reality, fully incorporating that belief into one's identity and daily behavior. The relationship between consciousness and reality has intrigued scientists and philosophers for centuries. However, recent discoveries have begun to reinforce the idea that the mind is not just a product of the brain, but rather a fundamental element in the creation of the universe. Two modern theories stand out in this debate: biocentrism and the holographic universe theory. Biocentrism, proposed by scientist Robert Lanza, suggests that consciousness does not emerge from the physical universe. Instead, the universe arises from consciousness. According to this theory, time and space are merely mental constructs, and the external reality exists only because a conscious observer perceives it. This means that the world we experience is not a fixed, objective entity but rather a projection shaped by perception. If biocentrism is correct, then the attention we direct towards specific aspects of reality literally defines the way we live. This concept strongly resonates with ancient teachings about the power of the mind and its ability to transform the world through focus and intention. Another fascinating theory is the holographic universe theory, which proposes that reality may be a large three-dimensional projection of information stored on a two-dimensional surface. In other words, what we perceive as physical matter could be an illusion created by patterns of energy and information. This theory is supported by studies on black holes, which show that the information contained within them appears to be stored on their surfaces rather than inside. If this principle applies to the entire universe, then reality as we know it could be one vast hologram, where consciousness acts like a laser shaping what we experience. If consciousness is truly the key to constructing reality, then this reinforces the importance of directed attention. If consciousness can shape reality, then mastering vital energy becomes one of the essential pillars for those who wish to enhance their manifestation abilities. Throughout history, different traditions have developed methods to channel and intensify this energy, which is known by various names across the world. In Japan, this force is called Qi. In China, it is known as Qi. In India, it is referred to as prana, while in ancient Greece it was called ether. Despite cultural and linguistic differences, all these traditions share the belief that vital energy permeates the body and directly influences health, mental clarity, and the ability to manifest intentions. The flow of this energy is regulated by specific centers within the body, known as chakras in Hindu tradition. Each chakra represents a different area of human experience, from physical survival to spiritual connection. When these energy centers are blocked or unbalanced, attention and vital force become scattered, making it harder to focus and manifest desires. To balance and strengthen this energy flow, various practices have been developed, including meditation, conscious breathing, and Tai Chi. The Wim Hof breathing technique, for example, combines controlled hyperventilation with cold exposure to expand the body's ability to handle stress and strengthen the mind. Additionally, maintaining a state of deep relaxation while visualizing a specific goal can amplify the influence of consciousness on external reality. Training attention is not just a mental exercise, but also an energetic process. The more aligned a person's internal energy is, the more effective they will be in directing consciousness toward what they wish to materialize. One of the biggest challenges for those who want to manifest their reality is the constant energy drain caused by destructive habits and an environment full of distractions. One of the main factors that weaken vital energy is poor nutrition. The body and mind are deeply connected, and excessive consumption of processed foods, artificial additives, and toxins can reduce mental clarity and lower the ability to focus. For example, consuming too much sugar causes fluctuations in energy levels, making it harder to sustain attention for extended periods. Another essential factor is sleep. During deep sleep, the brain processes information, eliminates accumulated toxins, and strengthens neural circuits that influence conscious manifestation. A lack of quality rest can leave the mind scattered, making it harder to maintain focus and direct energy toward goals. Beyond physical aspects, negative emotional patterns also lead to energy depletion. Chronic stress, anxiety, and destructive thoughts create a cycle of tension that drains vital force. When a person is overwhelmed by negative emotions, it becomes difficult to focus attention on positive goals. Another major factor that disrupts energy flow is the excessive use of technology, especially constant exposure to social media and short-form videos. The more time spent on fast and repetitive stimuli, the harder it becomes to sustain focus on a single objective long enough to manifest it in reality. Avoiding energy drain requires conscious lifestyle changes. The more energy you have available, the greater your ability to direct it toward creating the reality you desire. The mind, like a muscle, can be trained to maintain focus and sustain intentions with greater intensity. There are various practices that help enhance this process, many of which have been used by spiritual masters and practitioners throughout history. One of the most effective techniques for improving attention and visualization skills is the candle exercise, inspired by Imdad Khan, the mentor of Khuda Bux. This practice involves fixing your gaze on a candle flame for a few minutes without looking away. This simple exercise strengthens focus, trains the mind to resist distractions, and increases the connection between consciousness and the external world. After fixing your gaze on the candle, the next step is to close your eyes and visualize a goal as if it has already been achieved. The mental image should be clear and vivid, as if you were living the experience at that very moment. The key is to not only see the desired outcome, but also to feel it intensely. Emotions such as gratitude, joy, and enthusiasm act as catalysts, amplifying the mind's influence over reality. Another fundamental technique is conscious breathing. Methods like Wim Hof's breathing technique, which combine controlled hyperventilation with cold exposure, help boost energy levels, strengthen mental resilience, and expand concentration capacity. Deep, rhythmic breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress and allowing the mind to operate with greater clarity and power. In addition to visualization and breathing, the repetition of affirmations is a powerful method for reprogramming the subconscious and aligning personal energy with desired goals. By practicing these techniques consistently, the connection between the mind and external reality becomes stronger, allowing directed attention to become a true tool for transformation. The story of Khuda Bux has shown us that the human mind possesses abilities far beyond what we have been taught to accept as normal. But how can we use this knowledge in a practical way to transform our lives? The answer lies in the disciplined application of techniques that strengthen focus and increase mental energy. Reality is deeply influenced by the quality of attention we give to it. From the teachings of ancient spiritual masters to the discoveries of modern quantum physics, everything points to the same principle. What we focus on grows, and what we ignore tends to fade from our experience. Reality is in constant transformation, and every thought, emotion, and act of attention contributes to shaping the world we experience. What do you choose to create from this moment forward?